opportunity. And Will Winter is actually playing against his former club. He was their top scorer and top player in assists. And that body language just says it all here for Vituala and Blanco. It will continue now. Traffic left to right for Maharlika Taguig. They're in their white uniforms again. And they are just completely dominating this game and the tempo. But be wary because Loyola could potentially spring a counter. But this cross here was stopped by Forosuelo. Traffic in the middle. A shot taken, but it's no good for William Winter. So going back, as we did say, he was Loyola's top scorer and top playmaker. Let's take a look at his statistics. It was 6 goals for him and 4 assists. Let's see, of course, how the Winter Soldier, as he's accepted that name, will be able to propel Maharlika Taguig to their first win of the season. They are coming off a 4-1 result to Stallion Laguna FC. Maharlika did get to bag a consolation goal. But here's a corner kick now, a chance for them to put one on the board. Bodies inside the box. Plenty of traffic. But with that deflection, it's a corner kick for Maharlika on the other end. It will be on the further wing, to be precise. Looking at the team sheet also, it says that it is Master Kim, the former FEU and Loyola coach, who is the coach of Loyola today. But it is Coach Roxy Dorlas who is manning the sideline for them. Although we do see an unidentified individual who has to be with Loyola staff, but we doubt it is Master Kim. We'll try to confirm as we carry on with this match. It was sprayed over to the side now. It was James Sunday, their center back, who was getting involved. And there's Darlton Diga again, the man we were just talking about. But there was a collision, and after deliberation and a little dispute from the players, the linesman did show us it will be a throw-in to go Loyola's way. They did get forward earlier again with Ivan Owano trying to run through the right wing. As Kaole gave it out wide now. Shot taken, but it's picked up once more by Blanco. Francis Takardon, he came close to playing for UP again in the last UAAP season. But he did not end up playing because the news was he was ineligible. As they sent this one in, and it was intercepted by Kenry Balobo. It was Rico Andes, another player we are familiar with. So again, we're back because we did have some technical issues, and we'll be running through the story once more for that. It is Loyola FC in blue. They are currently defending. Maharlika Taguig are in their white. Loyola playing their first game of the season. Last week's game was postponed. Maharlika have 1 game under their belt already, and they will try to take advantage of that, of course, when it comes to being in shape, being in form, and having a rhythm. But with going back again, it was very interesting because Loyola only had 15 minutes, or only warmed up for 15 minutes prior to this match. And we were made aware, and we did see in the grandstand that the Federation went out of its way to help with administrative aspects. As Tarleton Dega got it over here now, a shot taken, and it is goal number 1 this afternoon. And from what we saw, it was a connection to John Bancole. But it's not the number 6. It appears it is. Their man donning the number 8 jersey. And it is Ahmed Saidi. Some confusion there initially, but it was Bancole who was part of the players who dummied it and attracted attention. And credit to Saidi. This is the second goal of the season for Maharlika Taguig, because they did find the back of the net last week to spoil the clean sheet of Stallion Laguna. And as expected, Maharlika leads 1-0 behind Ahmed Saidi again. And it's a very young game here. Who knows if the floodgates will open? And it's highly likely with the things that we mentioned earlier. Well, we will run through it also because of the technical issues. The technical issues, of course, delayed the little things or did not allow us to connect with you. But going back again, the Federation didn't go out of its way to help in administrative aspects so that Loyola could take to the pitch. And do note that Loyola only have 14 players listed today. So that's 3 subs on the bench to add to the 11 players. To add to the 11 starting players, of course. Well, here's a chance on the left now that Francis Takardon will look to utilize. You also have to feel for the players in this scenario. But hey, they have a chance now on the field, but that cross by Owano was intercepted. Palpalatok over to Digha. Great work there from the right back in Palpalatok. It's Owano squaring off with his former teammate. A number of former United City FC players on the field. No UCFC again because of the announcement that they made. Well, here comes Dizon, flicked back now, a near opportunity, but there was the denial by Henry Balobo. He did get to stop Chemar Andrade. And going back again to what we were mentioning, players were filling up forms for Loyola FC less than an hour before the game, as we did see in the grandstand. The admin issues led to a delay in the filling up of the starting list or the team sheet. And that is the time that we only got an official copy of their roster. There's a great number of players who are listed as not playing. We will list that down later on. And here's the ball out to Angeles, who will opt to go to the right. He will not cross because there is traffic. The defense is down. Palpalatok. He did get a start also versus Stallion. Bancole sending this one. Loose handles initially from the keeper. Toros Kaole and William Winter, who were looking to capitalize. So that's the information that we have to share, ladies and gentlemen. It's the administrative aspects, of course, that we saw that was lacking and struggling. And with that, Maharlika have just come out guns blazing with their aggression in this game and confidence. The shot taken despite the defenders, and it is over here. There's Serge Kaole, as we know again, someone we are very familiar with. Will he get in the score sheet again? But again, it's a 1-0 lead because of Ahmed Saidi, who did find the back of the net in about the 12th minute. When we look at the roster also, as the possession is at 62-38 in favor of Maharlika, a number of former Loyola FC players from the previous season are with Maharlika Taguig. As Kaole first is getting through before we get on with that list. And it's another corner kick. There's Javi Coscolwello, who is not playing because he is injured and still recovering from last season's injury, from what we believe. And then there's Jorel Aristorenas, who was also a top scorer for Loyola FC. But Pete Forresuelo and Alasan Wade have their work cut out here in hopes of getting a stop. So here's a corner kick, and Maharlika will look to double their advantage It's an outswinger that will be resuming things. And there was that stop, but it's a foot race. Digha versus Dizon. Dizon did score the inaugural goal of the Philippines Football League, when we do recall also. So essentially, it's Dizon who's that OG player here for Loyola when it comes to being connected with their culture in the past. As there is a cross now, the header, but this one is over and slightly wide. But it was pretty close right here for the team in blue, and Rico Andes pictured. Rico Andes, an FEU Tamaraw, and also formerly with Cebu when we recall. Kenry Balobo for sure wants his clean sheet because they did concede 4 in that loss. Bancole. So there are UCFC personnel again from the previous season who are with Maharlika Taguig. Hence, some players also followed suit. Other than Marian Mihail, there's also Tudor again, his son. As Papalato gave us this promising cross, but no one to meet it in the other end. Eventually, that is the case. There's Winter Soldier and Digga in the middle. Digga came close, but it's a goal kick here because the Cameroonian was last touch. This can be a dangerous force. Those two men pictured. More game time and chemistry together can make them, or could be the key. So Jason Edward Blanco, their goalkeeper, the lone goalkeeper for Loyola FC. So they will have to tread carefully in this game. And who knows if he will be their goalkeeper or only goalkeeper this season. And the aggressive sliding tackle from Abo, one of the 4 holdovers again of Maharlika. And who are the holdovers of Maharlika? It's Canicosa Libre, Baguio, Abo, and Bensi Villanueva. So now it is a free kick from the right wing for Loyola. Let's see how this one will go. Again, this season is very young, so essentially no pecking order, but there are expectations in the community on how teams will be performing. As there was that header, defensive header from Sunday, and here comes Maharlika now rushing through the middle. Angeles options left and right. William Winter gets this one, a bit of a shirt pull, but he's getting by with the much needed stop here. That stop was courtesy of John Vitualia. And I had to just double check, of course, because the referee did point Loyola's way for the throw-in. So when Vitualia came up with that stop, it must have ricocheted off of William Winter's foot or leg. But with the aggression here again, courtesy of Digha, it goes back Maharlika's way. So the question is, of course, as this is a little figurative, what is Darlton Digga's position? Because he is everywhere. He's in the right, he's in the left, he's in the middle. That just shows, of course, their aggression, and he has the license to roam. Sunday played this ball. Is it still in? That is the case. Wade couldn't get it to Dizon. That is why our goal scorer inside he collected. Bancole was a little loose first, but it is eventually settled by the team in white. Winter played it back here to Saidi. Bancole. You see the intention from Loyola to absorb and pounce on the counter. No press here. Just keeping that block. So again, with everything that we mentioned, there are huge question marks over Loyola's campaign because this is a very new look for them because players from last season made moves out of the club. two of their most important players, Charles Restorenas and William Winter, are playing for Maharlika Taguig, and then Charlie Beaton transferred to Stallion Laguna. And we know that preparation for Loyola has also been far from ideal because they have issues off the pitch, which we got into detail earlier, and those need to be resolved. And it's tough, of course, given that the season is ongoing. It will be up to Coach Roxy Dorlas to put all of these issues behind and inspire his club to produce a performance against this Maharlika crew that is absolutely hungry for a victory. But let's do note that teams had to finish in the top 10 to get the right to participate in this edition of the Philippines Football League. As this ball was stopped. And now it's with Owano over to Takardon. The Loyola attack delayed because of Palpalatok. But how did Loyola get the right to play here in this edition of the PFL? It's by virtue of finishing 8th place with 16 points after racking up 5 wins, 1 draw, and 8 losses. So this one was played back. Wade over to Blanco. And of course, with this state of Loyola FC, it is relatively sad because they once won the UFL Cup in the PFF National Men's Club Championship and are known for their robust development program and local talent. Their notable players, of course, were the likes of Phil and James Younghusband, the Hartman brothers, Mark and Matthew, there's Simon Greatwich, Freddie Gonzalez, Anto Gonzalez. So many notable names here for such a club. But here comes this counter-attack now when we refer to Loyola. It's on the right. They're trying to whip in this cross that was delayed by Mike Menzi. They wanted to go for Rico Andes because he did launch some shots already in this game that threatened the goal of Henry Balobo. And there's William Winter again, one of the players that we mentioned playing for the opposing side. He did go up through the youth ranks of Loyola. A favorite of their supporters group Frente, who are not present in this game. As we said it, of course, we were just double checking and scanning the grandstand, and that is confirmed. Mike Menzi over to Palpalatok. So with all of the discussions here for Loyola FC, let's get to it with Maharlika Taguig. Again, we did mention that they're coming off a 4-1 defeat to Stallion Laguna. That goal is a bright spot, and it was courtesy of Serge Kaole. Well, the latest one, Palpalatok, wanted to give it back to Dega or find William Winter. Ivan Owano over to Takardon. We do know he is in shape because he had the preseason with UP before being deemed ineligible in the university ranks, as he gets this one now. And the fall, no interest from our referee when it's a penalty plead for Loyola FC. He points, though, for a goal kick. This is the very pitch, the very stadium where Francis Takardon sensationally won the UAAP men's football title. But there's another look. Henry Balobo giving the finger wag. But understandably, Francis Takardon is furious. But they cannot get carried away by emotions because they only have 3 subs again, as we know and as we see in the team sheet. But back with our discussions with Maharlika Taguig, they're on a mission to improve on their position from this season because of their signing of several UCFC players. Because these guys are talented, as we saw last time around. They showed promise against Stallion, but that game showed that they still have work to do when it comes to catching up if they want to challenge for a title or even push for a top 5 finish, as we do see Kurt Dizon, the skipper again of Loyola. But again, there were plenty of encouraging signs for Taguig, with a few of their signings set to arrive in the coming weeks, as we know. And the club's outlook is positive, especially with the way they are playing now. One hand on the 3 points because of that goal earlier. They lead 1-0. It's a 4-3-3 for Maharlika Taguig as they submitted. We can only speculate on Loyola's formation, but this shot of Dega is no good and offside. But from what we've observed in this game, because we are now 27 minutes in, it appears to be a 4-4-2 formation, which is basic and understandable given the scenarios again that Loyola have faced. So play to resume here with Wade's free kick at the back just outside their goalkeeper box. That's because of the call against Darlton Dega, which was offside. It's FEU versus UP here. Francis Tuckerdon versus Mike Menzie. A little bit of that friendliness there after that duel. Mike just giving a tap to Francis. Afterwards, there's a bit of that, again, between them. Just a communication, a bit of a sorry with this game still going on. After all, the football community, everyone's friends with one another outside of the pitch once the game is done. And it is that support again, with members helping each other and supporting one another as they switch it over to Palpalatok. Angeles, back to Palpalatok. Bancole. And it's with Sunday again. They've just been leaving Mike Menzie behind because Sunday is helping out in the midfield. But here is a counter now, triggered by Wade. Played to Andes. FEU versus FEU. Andes versus Menzie. There's support now, but the shot taken. And it is a goal right here for Loyola. Challenges that they face, but they score a goal and level it. If we could have shown you the look in the face of Coach Roxy Dorlas, that also said it all here. And this goal means the world to them. You could see, of course, the reaction also of Ivan Owano. And it's back on level terms. And as we say, it's game on, ladies and gentlemen. This one more than a goal to them. And how will this goal prove to help them long term? As here's another look, fantastic individual ability. Rico Andes getting that ball and slipping it past Henry Balobo, as that drive for a clean sheet here is denied. The passion again here. And as we say, and as we hear in the stadium, the passion and the power in the Philippines Football League. There's confirmation once more in the goal of Rico Andes. It's Loyola's first game again. And Loyola scoring here is a massive feat already, considering all of the challenges that we mentioned earlier. But traffic will continue now Maharlika Taguig's way. We did mention earlier that you could favor Maharlika with the way they've been very aggressive in controlling this game, but they need goals to show for it on the board. And in its history, we'd often see Maharlika counter-attacking and actually be the team that would be a bit of the underdog. Angeles. Kaole. Kaole on the receiving end of some physicality. Eventually gets hit in the face from what we're seeing. And is in absolute pain from what we are, or from the pictures that we're getting. And apologies there from the end of John Vitualia. But Kaole, quick to get back and send his, or make himself heard. But there was another look. Holding on to his face, but it was the back of the head that was hit. But hey, a back of the head still hurts, of course. Vitualia sending his apologies. No card from what we saw. But because of that fall, it is a free kick. And it's set up by Vitualia and Takardon. Vitualia did play recently for the Benil Blazers, according to his online transfer market profile. And he's 24 years of age. They whip this one in, but can't get it on target. Close, but not quite for Bancole. Bancole, of course, would have liked to get himself on the scoreboard this season personally, and when we mention the team as a whole. Here's another look. He was unmarked. Easier said than done. All he had to do was get that ball on target. But John Bancole racked up 1 goal last season. But this time around, Kaole getting a boot to the face. No, it's Darton Dega this time around, his compatriot. Some confusion because Darton Dega is also all over the place. And it was Kaole as of late who was on the right. But Dega is very slow here and is catching his breath. And the man this time around who did hit the compatriot of Serge Kaole in Darton Dega is John Vitualia. So Vitualia having a hit at 2 Cameroons here as of late of Maharlika. And that is why he gets it booked eventually. As Dega's cross was stopped. Again, because of that equalizer, Loyola are in this. And there's Mike appearing to be a bit hobbled on his right knee. That's Mike Menzi again, to be precise. The Darton Dega early cross, but it eventually finds its way to Kaole. Trying to connect now here with Saidi. Dega on the right, gets inside the box, getting in inch by inch. Cuts it back here, but there was the denial by Blanco. It's another corner kick that Maharlika will get to use. And just an update, possession is at 67% in favor of Maharlika, the team pictured. Well, here's another look. Dega just getting some space, but Blanco did get his area covered, the bottom post to be precise. But quickly as we go on now, another cross, and it's another stop for Loyola. And it's played short this time around. So we were mentioning that the bench is relatively empty for Loyola, but a great number of players are on their not playing list. As we officially say, this is their roster reveal. As there was another cross and this ball over the bar for Taguig. And it's Saidi again who is eyeing for his brace early on in this game. But these players again for Loyola, we've got Silva. We are hearing it's actually Matt Silva, who was previously with United City and is still nursing an injury from last season. There's Burnett, Anderson, Pinto Noguera, Deliuve. This is Paulo Pavone, we can presume also. And then there's Collins and Morimoto. "36 minutes into this game already, as we are 9 minutes away from additional time in the first half. And a draw already here for Loyola given the circumstances. in just being able to put the team on the pitch will already be massive. A draw again will add 1 point to your tally in the standings. A win will add 3 points. You get 0 points for a loss. And that is how we will be ranking teams here. At the end of our double round robin stage, the top 2 teams will be getting tickets to play in the AFC Champions League 2. The number 1 team will head to the group stage. The number 2 team will be playing in the qualifying playoff. But the top 4 will also compete in the final series, and that is how we will determine the winner of the 2024-2025 Philippines Football League season. And to add, of course, don't you forget there is the Shopee Cup. The winner of the final series will also get the right to play in the Shopee Cup. You are also catching this game on our Facebook and YouTube pages of the Philippines Football League and also on Premier Football. We're glad to have you with us. This is Claro Manzano bringing you the commentary for this affair. We also have another game later on. Don't you forget. We'll get through the schedule in a bit because there is this opportunity forward for Loyola that Maharlika will look to contain. Takerdon gets this. We were seeing again, he got his preseason with UP because his intention was really to play in the UAAP at the university ranks. Takerdon also did get to play with Loyola for at least one summer in his youth days, as we've heard. But Kurt Dizon couldn't get this one to go for them. This one going back and forth now as teams will try to secure, but it's into the feet of Darton Diga, giving it on now to Serge Kaole. Nagmamadali siya ngayon as he takes a fall and runs out of space. No call there by the referee. This one was outside. That's why it will go back the way of Blanco. And Allison Wade again, one of 2 holdovers by our count in this Loyola squad, and he will be important for them. And there's Pete Forosuelo, also a veteran of the game already. And total shots is 9 for Maharlika and 5 for Loyola. But there's 2 Maharlika players down on the pitch, but here is a counter-attack now for the team in blue. Trying to get it to Wandes, but it's into the boots or feet of Palpalatok. They will try to continue that build-up again. So let's also try to run through the players on the bench for our respective squads. And there's Joshua Halog, Santi Rosales, MJ Libre Canicosa, Lawrence Baguio, Jerome Marzan, Benzi Villanueva, and Muntesu for Maharlika. And for Loyola on the bench, there's Vincent Saludo, one of their holdovers. There's also Armando Gonzalez and Christian Peñalosa, formerly with LaSalle. Yes, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the first half already. As Darton Diga will try to get this one versus Vitualia. Through the middle now, and William Winter, the Winter Soldier, forced that save from Blanco. Winter is hungry for a goal because he was locked down last game in the limited time he was given. Here's another look at that again. Diga giving a promising ball. Winter got it off, but the keeper had his number. Here's the corner whipped in, almost a goal, and desperately stopped by Loyola FC. So it's 4 minutes remaining until halftime. And this may feel like an eternity for them. And just to run things through, of course, it's Balobo playing goalkeeper for Maharlika. There's Sunday and Mike Menzi playing center back. There's Gababo and Palpalatok as the fullbacks for Coach Marian Mihail. And then there's the midfield trio, Bancole, Angeles, and Saidi. And then up front for Coach Marian in the attacking end will be Diga, Winter, and Kahole. And for Loyola, it's Blanco playing goalkeeper, and then there's Talarok, Vitualia, Andes, Tacardon, Oano, Dizon, Semblante, Andrade, Wade, and Forosuelo. So it's familiar names again here for this Loyola squad, and they are trying to extract every ounce of experience to make up for their lack of preparation. What a throw in right here from Brian Palpalatok. Bancole under pressure from his former teammate Oano. Saidi. Angeles tried to play William Winter, but Wade was in the way. Wade appearing to really take a tough hit here, as Winter's trying to just help him up and send his apologies. This one to the middle. Traffic will continue for Maharlika, the team in white.
Additional time, 3 minutes.
So we are not yet in our additional time, so we have about 2 minutes to go. As this shot was taken, but it did not have enough power for Bancole. It's a routine save for Jason Blanco, the man from Kitapawan City. And another fall here after the physicality of Diga. He is livid, as is the case for Francis Tacardon, because he took a tough hit. The time continues to tick now before we have about 3 minutes of additional time. While we see the replay, of course, of that fall, don't you forget, later at 7 p.m. we do have Manila Digger FC and Menjola FC 1991 squaring off in our second and final game of this day. As there was a much-needed header to clear it out. Angeles got this one from Bancole, trying to play it over to Saidi. Was now on the left, and they do play William Winter. It's a foot race here versus Talarok.
Additional time, 3 minutes.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially in additional time in the first half here in our matchup between Loyola and Maharlika. Maharlika did score again early on in about the 12th minute behind Saidi, but Rico Andes had other plans and leveled this game. This one all to play for. But if it does end again with this scoreline, they will add 1 point each to their standings. As Diga tries to get through now, he took a fall in the process. It was quite tough because he did not really have an angle. And tomorrow, when we look at our schedule, we have the PFF Youth National Team squaring off with Cebu FC at 3 o'clock. And then we do have afterwards, there's one Taguig and Stallion Laguna. And another much-awaited clash in Davao Aguilas UMAC FC, playing defending champions Kaya FC Iloilo. When we do recall, Kaya clinched the title at Davao's expense in one of the late games of the season. And that is something to look forward to also. Kaya and Davao, after all, also squared off in the Copa Paulino Alcantara final, which took place last year. As Blanco will try to burn time off the clock now. Either team will look to sneak in a goal. And this one intercepted and is looking dangerous. But there is the emergency clearance from Sunday. So it's a throw-in for Loyola as they are just bidding their time to get numbers forward in a crucial attack, which is pretty much before the halftime whistle already. It's over with Chemar Andrade. The cross off of Palpalatok. It'll be a throw-in on the other end. So John Vitualia will be giving us this throw-in. We're just seconds away from hitting the third minute already. But in this scenario, you need to get the stop if you are Taguig. And so far, that's the case. But here's a duel between Forosuelo and Kaole. Bancole to Kaole. Or Saidi to Kaole, rather. And now it's with Bancole. Tarleton Dika. Over to Marvin Angeles. Eventually sends in the cross, but they couldn't go for Winter. A chance though on the rebound because of some loose defending by Forosuelo. But that is all for the first half here, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1-1. Maharlika again gave us the opener behind Saidi's goal. But Loyola and company did have other plans, as we did see Rico Andes level things. It's 1-1 here at the half again in your Philippines Football League action.
Ladies and gentlemen, the halftime score is Loyola FC 1 and Maharlika Taguig FC 1.
Kabila wala. Papusog man lang sa uso.
Welcome back to your continuing coverage of 2024-2025 Philippines Football League action between Loyola FC and Maharlika Taguig FC. It's 1-1 apiece as we see. Maharlika gave us the opener again behind Saidi, or Ahmad Saidi to be precise, and then Loyola managed to pull one back behind Rico Andes as we take a look at our statistics at the moment, and numbers have been favoring Maharlika with the way they've been playing and dictating the tempo of the game. But if we look at the score again, it's 1-all and all to play for. There were struggles again here with Loyola FC, but they managed to get their team on the pitch, and it's all to play for. But something, of course, that can be raised in this game, as the numbers just paint the picture with the way this game has been dominated. Loyola only have 3 subs on the bench, as opposed to Maharlika, who do have the opportunity to utilize all of their opportunities to come up with subs. But here was that eventual goal behind Ahmad Saidi, one of their foreign players, and got things going for them quickly. A 1-0 lead here that saw Maharlika dictating play, something that we wouldn't often see from them, because in their previous years they've been more of a counter-attacking and defensive team. But this was the goal that Rico Andes managed to slip in using his individual ability on the counter, splitting 2 defenders, getting that ball past goalkeeper Kenry Balobo. And that goal meant the world to them, of course, and could just spring more good things to come for them in this season that, you don't forget, is quite long, as there was a close chance here for Bancole also to get on the scoreboard, but Darton Diga was also a busy man. And also, going back, there's also a busy goalkeeper for Loyola in Jason Blanco, their lone goalkeeper in this game. But teams heading back again to the pitch, as we will eventually head on to the second 45 minutes of this game, as we do have a pair of changes already who will come on for Maharlika Taguig. And we do see MJ Canicosa Libre, who will enter, and stepping off is, try to take a closer look, but it may be William Winter who was subbed off. And then the other man who did enter is player number 21, Jerome Marzan. It appears to be a triple sub, as Lawrence Baguio also made his way onto the pitch. Here we go, Loyola much rejuvenated from that goal that allowed them to level the scoreline. It's been the David and Goliath matchup again here, with Maharlika dictating tempo. But we've seen the growth also of this Maharlika squad over the years, because they were once upon a time the Davids. But this is it, the second half underway. You're catching this on the PFL's Facebook and YouTube pages and on Premier Football. And thank you very much for joining us. This is Clara Manzano bringing you the commentary for this one.
Player number 22, William Winter, replaced by player number 9, MJ Canicosa Libre. Substitution for Maharlika Taguig. Player number 11, Raymond Abu, replaced by player number 15, Lawrence Baguio.
So we did confirm 2 of the players who stepped off for Coach Marian Mihail. It's William Winter and Gab Abo. We'll just try to confirm that last player, as there's pressure being piled up now. The back line of Loyola, sure busy. Takardon playing his usual wing position, or his natural position, as this long ball could not connect up front with Chemar Andrade. And it will go the other way with Lawrence Baguio, James Sunday, Mike Menzi. So it is, from the looks of it, it is Marvin Angeles, that other player who stepped off. Who stepped off for Maharlika. We just needed some confirmation. There's a slight confusion initially, as it is with Serge Kaole. The fall here from Semblante. But it still goes Maharlika's way. And Andrade gave it over to Dizon. Dizon again brewing with experience, but this one here played over to Rico Andes is offside. Later again, Menjola FC 1991 in Manila Digger will be squaring off at our 7 p.m. game here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila. As here comes Darlton Digha. His Adamson players are actually here to support, as it's MJ Libre. He's very comfortable with the ball, but he doesn't get to capitalize here because of John Vitualia and company. But because of that Loyola stop, it's a corner for Taguig. Here was that dangerous ball. Vitualia initially didn't get to deal with it, but managed to stop Libre as Wade was there at the back in case for support. And here comes Jerome Marzan. The outswinger. It was off the post twice from what we saw. Make that 3 times, as it was desperately sent over the bar for a stop for Loyola. It's even possible that the ball went past the goal line from what I initially saw in the first attempt. But a big concern is that Jason Blanco is hurt from what we are witnessing. Here's another look, the delivery from Marzan, the header. It was by Darlton Digha, so it did not cross here. And the follow-up hit the crossbar for Saidi. And then another one here, hitting the woodwork a number of times, or the crossbar. And then a collision between Blanco and his teammate, but it's okay. There's Pete Forosuelo and company again, experienced. And there's Allison Wade, as we mentioned. A very dangerous sequence there, as this corner is stopped. And here's the cross now, taking a lot of flight. But it is eventually knocked back here because Maharlika will look to dictate play. That's been the case in this game again. But it seems that Loyola have now shifted to a 4-1-4-1 formation. They have a midfield now that is a little more packed. It's on to the right now. Let's see how this will go for them behind Libre. But this one cleared. And here comes the long ball in hopes of testing the keeper. They did not get it, Digha. But Wade sent this one up, but not enough to cover ground. But Marzan is denied here at the bottom corner. You look at the scoreline, it's 1-1, and Loyola have banked on their defense, and we could say experience of the players, because there are familiar names in this group. That goal has re-energized them again, as we've said in this game, despite the issues that we pointed out. As the corner is sent in. And it's another stop. With every stop, of course, Loyola will grow in confidence. What you see, conceding that goal hasn't dampened the spirits of Maharlika. But there's a look at Jemar Andrade. Everyone having to do defensive duties here, save for Rico Andes, who was in front, just to make sure that they have a chance to attack or are able to utilize any opportunities to get forward. Libre to Bancole. gave it back. MJ Libre has shifted to the left again, as we pointed out, as he takes a shot, and it's good here. MJ Libre, one of the main men of Maharlika, the man from Manila itself. A big-time goal here to give them a 2-1 lead in the 53rd. Some of that confidence or momentum was lost because they blew that 1-0 lead. But they are guns blazing coming out because Maharlika kept their foot in the gas pedal in the second half as they got this goal that they definitely need and deserve. Libre, very shifty, very good with the ball. That's why they put him in to make an impact. He was calling for it because he felt that there was an opportunity. He shifted to the left wing in hopes of changing up and getting the defense of Loyola working. And he got the task here. And just to clarify, of course, it is MJ. It is MJ Canicosa, as he is called, but also popularly known as MJ Libre. But his paperwork, he did clarify, contains the last name Canicosa. But when you see him with his dribbling capabilities, you are well aware of who MJ Libre or MJ Canicosa is. And he just gave a goal also to show how he can do things further. But here's a corner kick from Takardon. Maharlika with more height and heft. French Talarok wanted to switch it up. Here's his counter, but the ball was given away to the middle to Jemar Andrade. That's why Loyola will be able to bounce back. They did do it once. Can they do it again? Not in this instance, though, because it's with Kenry Balobo. 3 clean sheets for Balobo last season when he served as a backup for Kaya FC Iloilo, wherein he won the title. That was a very deep team, of course. And it seems, of course, just outside looking in, that Balobo moved to Maharlika. So he was given this opportunity to play as their first keeper. And corners 10-1 in favor of the team we were just mentioning in Maharlika Taguig. Ivan Wano picks this one up. But Mike Menzi was calling for offside with Rico and Des. But they did get the stop when we refer to the Taguig back line. But here comes Darlton Dighan now. Got past one. Couldn't get past two. Because Pete Forosuelo did get that stop. 2 former teammates who were going at it. But Diga appears to be hurt from that challenge. Diga still slow to get up, but here was that last play. He got past one, but we did say he could not get past two because of that stop of Pete Forosuelo. But Forosuelo did have momentum there. Well, Darlton Diga's former teammates, who are now his players because he is the Adamson coach, are in attendance as we saw the likes of Nico Arañas. But a chance now in transition. Owano. Kurt Dizon. But this one was lost. But what a development over the span of this game when we refer to Loyola again. They were they did manage to get things together last minute over the administrative side. And this team possibly shook off some distractions because you could say they're in this game. They did score a goal and they were they did score a goal and level things after being down 1-0. If they did score once, who knows if they can score again. But note that Maharlika have this lead. But also an advantage is that Maharlika have been able to put in 2 subs. The case of Loyola is that they have 3 players on the bench, but they did not utilize any of their substitutions. So that is a cause of concern for them over the course of this game, because match fitness can also be a question with Loyola's players as compared to those of Maharlika. Marzan from Palpalatok earlier, they wanted to play this one forward. It's a game of head tennis now, and who will secure? Over to Kaole, inside the box. Numbers do not support him as he gets hit and wins a penalty right here. A chance to pad their lead. The body language just says it all for John Vitualia, who is already on a yellow. He will have to be careful. That yellow again was from the first half. There's the fake there that Kaole got him to bite. And the fall deemed to be enough for a penalty kick, but Loyola, their side in disbelief. And here's a kick from the spot that will be taken by Kaole himself, their captain, their leader. Our colleagues or analysts who are former players would normally say players who win the penalty don't, or they recommend players who win the penalty normally do not take this because they may have that emotion or maybe knack from the fall, and they normally have a designated man or a backup. But let's see how Kaole will do. He has the knack for finding the back of the net. Will he get this past Blanco? Takes it and makes it. It's 3-1 for Maharlika. A big boost now for them. They get the cushion. They can get into cruise control and possibly get more goals. It's 3 goals, three different goal scorers here for Coach Marian Mihail.
Player number 19, Serge Howland.
But when we look at it now, let's head over to the Loyola side. They do have their goalkeeper in Blanco down. He appeared to take a tough fall. So Teso Moon will check into the game, and the man stepping off is our goal scorer, Serge Kaole. Teso Moon again with a previous stint with Davao Aguilas, UMAC FC. His brother Junsu is still with the team we mentioned. But this is... Oh, we do have the sign right there that Blanco will have to be replaced. And they do not have a goalkeeper listed on their subs. Blanco is their only goalkeeper. It seems that the other one is Matt Silva, we could presume, but he's listed as not playing. We presume because it is just the last names listed on the not playing portion of the starting list. So it will have to be a makeshift goalkeeper. Here's the goal of Kaole, but do note also the tough fall of Blanco. Well, from the way he was being stretched, it's potentially cramps. And his gloves are off now. Blanco's gloves are off. That means he cannot continue. They did signal for the substitution, or they did give the signal for a sub. So in Loyola's first game here, it seems that Semblante will be a makeshift goalkeeper. And as is the case with makeshift goalkeepers, that is not their position. So there's that unfamiliarity that the opposing team can capitalize on and potentially put in more goals. And then what more? You're a makeshift goalkeeper and wearing gloves that are not your size. But this is the goalkeeper jersey that they have for Semblante. So it is possible, or it's not possible, but it was highly likely that they had it planned out already that he will be their backup goalkeeper in case of anything like this. So this one resumed again. It's a makeshift goalkeeper for Loyola. Marzan. So we did say Maharlika can get into cruise control in this game with this lead of theirs. Marzan. So we did see also that Christian Peñalosa is a sub who was utilized. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There was confirming on the ground because indeed Loyola were down to 10 players for the moment. But it was Jason Blanco, their goalkeeper, who was subbed off, and the man who entered was Christian Peñalosa, who was formerly with De La Salle University in the UAAP. And then field player Jesse Semblante, who was listed as a defender, is now playing goalkeeper. So let's see if Loyola will look to do damage control or aggressively try to pounce on the counter. But the case here is that it has been the prior of defending, as we do see Allison Wade. Wade has definitely helped keep the score decent along with Blanco before Jason Blanco himself had to be subbed off from what appeared to be cramps. So now with an update of possession, it's 68-32. Marzan has been dictating the game as that center mid who came on. Marzan with fresh legs along with the likes of MJ Canicosa Libre and Lawrence Baguio, who checked into the game. But let's see what Loyola can do with possession here as Vitualia got it over to Tacardon. Peñalosa was telling them to play it back, but he got it eventually. Wade, Forosuelo, that is a formidable center-back duo, as we know, with their track records. Christian Peñalosa, he is that holding midfielder, or is in his natural position. And it's back to him now. But it was given away, the stop now by the Taguig midfield. It's fresh legs again for Coach Roxy. And that's why they knocked it back to Semblante. So there are two more subs on the bench of Loyola, and they're currently warming up. And there's Vincent Saludo and Armando Gonzalez. French Talarok. It's played back by Peñalosa. Loyola seeing some time with the ball now, and it is promising for them despite the scoreline. And now some space to get forward and confidence to build on. As it's with Tacardon. Oano. Oano getting hit, and that's why there's a free kick here in a dangerous spot. But that hit appeared to trigger shock cramps. And with the limited time of Loyola FC, this is no surprise that players are getting cramps. As was the case for players in opening weekend. We did see a number also for Maharlika last time around, but their players are in better shape now after getting another week of training and a match in, as it is Santi Rosales who will enter this game. And stepping off is Brian Palpalatok. So here is this free kick that will take place, and they could potentially go for a goal. So that's the change, ladies and gentlemen. Santi Rosales will be getting about 25 minutes of action in this game, as they will look to finish strong. There's a dangerous player in Ivan Owano with a free kick. This goal vital if they'd like to claw their way back or at least get another moral victory as they take it, and it was shy of the near post. But you got to commend the effort right here from Owano. But it's recovered by Peñalosa. Peñalosa, an underrated player in his university days, but here he is brewing now with this chance to make an impact. And as the season will go on, we can only expect that Loyola will get better with more games under their belt, and they'll get, of course, or they'll get that opportunity to improve fitness and chemistry. It's a completely new look squad again as compared to last year. Only Vincent Saludo and Allison Wade are the holdovers. William Winter, their youth academy player, is with Maharlika and played the first half as they give this now to Moon, but it is offside here. Promising, but MJ Libre in disbelief over that. And of course, ruining that missed chance. But with the way things are going, Maharlika Taguig continue to have one foot on that door for their first win of the season. Continue, because they did lead this game 1-0 again. You be the judge here with this offside call. A little over 20 minutes remaining in this one. It's Maharlika Taguig in their white uniforms, Loyola FC in blue. You're catching this game on the Facebook and YouTube pages of the Philippines Football League and on Premier Football. This is Clara Manzano bringing you the commentary for this match. Up next again, we do have Minjola FC 1991 and Manila Digger. Both squads we mentioned are coming off defeats from last match week. And it will be a prime chance for them to get points on the board. A win again will add 3 points to your standings, and a loss will be 0. A draw will be 1 point. Well, when we recall also the likes of Cebu, Stallion, and Taguig have wins already on the board, as there is Chemar Andrade, who is down also with cramps from the looks of it. At the rate that this is going, it's a concern for Coach Roxy, because they only have limited substitutes. But Andrade will try to soldier on right here as he'll desperately massage his muscles in hopes of just eking out 20 more minutes. But on the other end, there's also Ivan Owano suffering from the same problem. And this is to add, of course, to Loyola utilizing a makeshift keeper, because their keeper had to be subbed off also from what appeared to be shock cramps from his penalty dive. But Owano and Andrade will try to shake this one off and soldier on. Sometimes, of course, or as is the case when someone gets cramps, we see that they are rarely able to go the distance. Sunday over to Marzan. Santi Rosales. And they shifted Mike Menzi over to right back. Kurt Dizon, the most experienced player here for Loyola with international experience. That's with the national team and club level. Well, it's a whistle here against Maharlika. They have a cushion again, but they still can't afford to relax. Because despite of the struggles of Loyola, they do have a formidable squad. Wade playing this one long, try to play Andrade. Moon over to Diga. He hasn't seen much of the ball as compared to the first half. But this one a throw in, and it was won by Talarok. Crucial, of course. And every single win or mini victories in this battle can help in building confidence to the next one. Kurt Dizon showing us what he's capable of doing again. He tries to thread the needle, but it was stopped by Rosales. Saidi again, the first goal scorer of this game. And then Rico Andes leveled it at 1-1 before Maharlika managed to bag a cushion behind MJ Canicosa Libre and Serge Kaole. Kaole converted a penalty, and that could potentially be the icing in this game. Rosales and Bancolidi got it over here to Sunday. Sunday asking for options. Throughout the course of this game, he's been helping in the midfield also. Diga to Marzan. Saidi. Canicosa Libre. He got dispossessed. And that is why Takardon will try to come up with something here for Loyola. Bancole 2-1-1. They're in a dangerous area should the likes of Takardon win this ball. Menzi. Options left and right now. They try to thread the needle. It's Moon versus Forosuelo. It's inside the box. And the call here will go the way of Loyola FC. So we have about 16 minutes remaining in this one. And Maharlika are poised to take this victory in this game. Maharlika again are coming off that 4-1 loss. So if they do seal this victory, it will be a win and a draw and a loss out of 2 games. As Talara couldn't get that ball, miscommunication again. Loyola have stepped up its defense after having to utilize a makeshift goalkeeper. As the time will tick now, fitness a concern because we did see a great number of players in the squad of Coach Roxy Torres in blue drop due to cramps. The throw-in went the way of Loyola. And we'll try to trigger a counter here now. Rosales did his job right here along with Sunday as it's back to Balobo. If you're Balobo also, you can take away a clean sheet in the second half. But of course, statistics are more on coming up with clean sheets over the 90 minutes. And you will take opportunities to improve. And that second half clean sheet will be a big boost to that squad of, or a big boost to Balobo and the squad of Coach Marian Mihail. Coach Marian again, who hails from Romania, and he was UCFC's coach earlier last season. For it was about the first few games. Moon trying to split the midfield now as it is with Baguio. We did see a shin guard fly. So this one went out and it's a throw in for Maharlika Taguig. Well, we do see Talarok. He wasn't happy because he said he was, or what we saw, he was hit while trying to clear the ball when it was roughly out of play already. They were hoping for a whistle. But more players dropping due to cramps for Loyola, as we said, with their limited preparation. It was off of Digha, and it was sent back by Baguio because Sunday will try to come up with something along with Bancole. Players players listed as not playing for Maharlika are the likes of Coscolwela, who is still injured. There's Aristorenas, Bini, and Del Rosario. But that Del Rosario is definitely not Lucas, as he jumped ship to KFC Iloilo. Who knows if it is potentially Anton Del Rosario. Anton Del Rosario, of course, one of the owners of Maharlika Taguig, did play a number of seasons for this very squad that he founded, along with the likes of Ethan Lee. This open lane now on the left. Sunday, he can make the case that he is a midfielder in this game with the way he's been pushing. So Loyola are down to 10 players for the moment also. They do have another sub though in Saludo and Gonzalez. After Christian Peñalosa entered this game and made an impact in the midfield, it continued to go the direction of Maharlika. Sunday getting forward again. They couldn't connect here because maybe the reason because it's a Saturday. Takardon. There's that DLSU to UP connection. There was that connection because Takardon gave it to Peñalosa. Forasuelo over to Wade. That shin guard that flew off earlier is actually still in the goalkeeper box of makeshift goalkeeper Jesse Semblante. So we got this opportunity to do some digging. So come to think of it, or after seeing and noticing, Jesse Semblante is actually a goalkeeper mainly, but his secondary position according to his online profile is center back. So what an asset here, especially with this short or this undermanned squad. As Libre could not find Moon, and it was stopped by Wade and Andrade. There's another player down now after taking a knock. So somewhat it is not a surprise now that Semblante is playing goalkeeper and is able to play that position well for Loyola FC. And Semblante did get a stint with Minchola earlier in this season. And being a player who was with Minchola, he is a former San Beda University Red Lion, a very prestigious university when it comes to football also and sports. But here's a de facto cooling break because of Kurt Dizon being down on the pitch, from what is also cramps from the looks of it, and that has been the case for all players who've been subbed off. And there you go. That's the stretch we often see for players who are suffering from cramps, given again that they have had limited time and are not up to speed when it comes to fitness. There's Coach Lemuel Onambia also, was next to Coach Marian in the technical area of Maharlika. Coach Lemuel Onambia also in that staff of Coach Darlton Digga in Adamson University's team. As Kurt Dizon is on the sideline. So it's all to gear for now in the final stretch of this game. Ahmad Saidi and company will try to finish strong. Will it be another goal? Goal difference a tiebreaker if ever teams are level on points, as possessions at 70-30. As it's over now with Tesu Moon. Played back by Baguio. Marzan to Bancole. Saidi, they got to switch it up. Here comes the cross. This one a little long, but Libre sent it to the middle now. Taken by Moon and stopped by Forosuelo. And here is a change for Coach Roxy and Loyola. We do have Vincent Saludo entering for French Talara, who was injured. So Loyola back to full strength or back to their 11 players. Here's this ball now with Moon. Moon takes it and makes it here. Game, set, match. They can put this result now beyond reasonable doubt, because it's 4 on the board. It's a 4-1 defeat last week, and Maharlika Taguig on course to reverse that and make it a 4-1 win this time around. Smiles on the pitch here, and the emotion from Tesu Moon.
By player number 13, Tesu Moon.
4 goals, 4 different scorers here for the squad of Coach Marian Mihail. And with that rocket that they sent in. And as we are witnessing this replay, that killer finish from Tesu Moon, it is now backup goalkeeper Jesse Simblante, who is suffering from cramps. And there's confirmation that goal once more. But in perspective, we have 4 goals and 4 different scorers for Maharlika. But Serge Kaole has scored 2 goals in 2 games. And he is their leading scorer essentially. That last goal of Kaole was versus Stallion Laguna last week. As this ball was given away. And with the way things are going, of course, it will be no surprise if Maharlika managed to bag another goal, at the least. They'll try to spread that opposing defense. Muntesu, they've locked him down, but there's another man in MJ Libre. Will try to go, or they'll try to go for this 1-2 punch. With the 2 getting heated here, Allison Wade and Muntesu. We saw that there was that physicality when they were trying to go for it. And Wade's gotta be furious too with the way they are set to bag a loss. And we understand where Moon's coming from here. That push seemed to be when the ball was away already. But Moon again has a goal to show. And to add to that goal, it's a yellow card. So an extra statistic here for our goal scorer, and it's not an assist. But they do have the win in the bag already, as we see. But it's fitness issues again plaguing Loyola, the team in blue, as Maharlika Taguig, the team in white, looks on and are just running down the minutes and sealing this W. And it's a big blow that it is Pete Forosuelo. Forosuelo, again, one of the most experienced players, but as we know, you need their fitness to be able to last the 90 minutes, and that was a challenge for Loyola heading into this game. But Forosuelo came close to doing his job in finishing the 90 minutes. And he made the most out of this scenario. Will he finish the game though? That's the question. Because they have their physiotherapist to attend to him. And Loyola will be down to 10 men again for the moment. That has happened a number of times already in this contest. Thank you very much for joining us on the Philippines Football League's Facebook and YouTube pages. And last but not the least, on Premier Football, for it is your local action again, the 2024-2025 Philippines Football League season. It's just match week number 2 Later, we do have Benjola FC 1991 and Manila Diggers squaring off. Tomorrow, we have a slate of games that we'll run through in a bit for you. And there is the youth national team squaring off versus Cebu FC. And then afterwards, there'll be one Taguig and Stallion Laguna who will square off. And it will be Davao Aguilas UMAC FC versus Kaya FC Iloilo. Kaya are intact from last season, while Davao, our new look as Coach Aber, got extra reinforcements for this campaign. And with the way things are going off picture, Pete Forosuelo is good to go. That's a big plus for them now in this game, despite of the scoreline. They have to take away all of these small victories, and Loyola have been able to do so indeed, despite of the struggles that we mentioned earlier and the issues. Now the next question that we can ask is, how will Coach Roxy and his squad improve on and off the pitch heading into their next game? Less than 2 minutes before additional time in this game already, as it is over now with Sunday, and he'll knock it back. When you see Bancoli has dropped down as that holding midfielder, and there's 3 at the back now in hopes of finishing this strong. Essentially, the right center back has become Santi Rosales. Santi Rosales, just like the last goal scorer, Tesu Moon, are from that Davao Aguila squad of Coach Aber. Also a big boost here now that they have jumped ship to the squad of Coach Marian. Bancole to Henry Balobo. And they'll just run the time down. And just to run through the scoreline again. And it was Ahmad Saidi who made it 1-0 early on in the 12th minute. And then we did get to see Rico Andes level things. A goal that meant the world to Loyola FC. But MJ Libre made it 2-1, and there was no looking back because Serge Kaole drew a penalty, converted to make it 3-1, as Tesumun made it 4-1. No clean sheet in 2 games though for Maharlika goalkeeper Henry Balobo, but a bright spot is that they've been able to shut down their opposing team to no goals in the second half. As we have 5 minutes of additional time, as confirmed by fourth official John Mike Basinang, as Ivan Oano succumbs to cramps already. And it also seems that they did not put in, or Loyola did not put in their last sub in Armando Gonzalez. Someone who could potentially enter and just relieve a player like Oano with 5 minutes remaining in the game or in additional time. And that experience could come in handy. And when we refer to that experience coming in handy, of course, it's about getting that competitive game time in, the repetitions. And official game time, of course, definitely is a different level from a friendly, where you have referees and you have that extra competitive environment. As Owan will have to be stretchered off. These Loyola boys, of course, have put in the work and have made the most of this scenario. The goal again, a consolation. So Owano did see limited action last season for United City FC, but he's been able to prove himself in previous editions of the tournament. He also has AFC Cup experience. But fitness here letting them down again because of their limited preparation. He would have liked to go all the way when it comes to finishing the game. Well, you can argue he put in the 90 minutes already because we are 2 minutes into injury time already in the second half of this matchup. So this game set now, you could say, except for the final score. And Owana should be okay, as it is cramps and not a severe injury. And action will resume now. Sunday, Marzan. Up next again, we do have Manila Digger FC and Menjola FC 1991 in our second game this Saturday doubleheader. There was a run in the further end, but there's a stop by Loyola. Can they spoil this second half clean sheet? But it is cleared off by Bancole. What a shift he put in here, playing that holding midfield position. And he's about to finish that whistle-to-whistle effort. We're saying that, of course, because Ivan Wano did play 90 minutes, but did have to get stretchered off because of cramps. Wade. And there's that pressure from Tesu Moon. Wade and Tesu Moon, of course, got heated earlier as Libre came up with the stop. Playing it now to the right. There's Digha. They want to roll the dice again, but this crosses off the mark and outside, and Digha in disbelief. They wanted to get that, or they wanted to get that last goal for the road. So we could have a few more sequences in this game as we are closing on the fifth and final minute of additional time already in this game. So Jesse Semblante will resume this. He's listed as a defender and started in this game as a field player, but because of Blanco having to get stretchered off due to fitness problems, Loyola have had to make their adjustments, because Jason Blanco is their only listed goalkeeper. So it's double duty for a player like Jesse Semblante, and the game is stopped because he's getting his share of cramps right now. But we're just moments away also from the final whistle in this game. And Maharlika FC will clinch their first win of the season. They will get to join the likes of Stallion Laguna in the win column in this season so far. And the others, of course, are Cebu FC and One Taguig. Kaya FC and Kaya FC Davao Aguilas and the youth national team have yet to play. And with this result of Loyola, they will join the likes of Digger and Minjoli, the lost column. Yeah, but Maharlika do have a loss also from their last game, but will move up the standings in this very young season as Santi Rosales looks on, and they will look to finish strong. This match is essentially finished, but you have to wait, of course, until the final whistle. And it ain't over till it's over. People can celebrate or bag a win when the whistle is blown. And that's the case right there, because you always have to be sure in the game of football. Maharlika Taguig bounce back after their match week number 1 loss. It's 4-1 because the likes of Ahmad Saidi made it 1-0 before Rico and Tess bagged in a massive goal for Loyola to make it 1-1. Massive despite of this loss. But MJ Libre gave the lead to Maharlika Taguig before Serge Cole won a penalty, which he took himself and converted. And then Tesu Moon made it 4-1 to just put the cherry on top right here in this Philippines Football League match. between Maharlika Taguig FC in white and Loyola FC in blue. This was the first game of Loyola FC again after the game was postponed last week, which was supposed to be against Davao Aguilas UMAC FC. But essentially, this is their first game now. A 4-1 result, but it is that consolation goal that's big. An improvement can be expected over the course of this season now that Loyola are getting those repetitions in. But there's confirmation once more of our goal scorer. Saidi scored in the 12th minute as Rico Andes cancelled out that effort. We entered the halftime break level before MJ Canicosa Libre. Serge Caulente Sumun, as we said, eventually pushed that tally to 4 goals for the squad of Romanian coach Marian Mihail. As we are just waiting now for our man of the match, and we will be having our interview in a bit, but later on it is Minjola FC 1991 and Manila Digger FC who will play. Both teams started off their campaign on a tough note because they are coming off losses. So who will barge into the win column in this squad? But of course, Maharlika glad to get that win. To note again, what's up for grabs in this Philippines Football League season? We'll have a double round robin to determine the top 4 teams. The top 4 teams will advance to the final series, and we will have a knockout competition there to determine the winner of this 2024-2025 Philippines Football League season. But do note, the top 2 teams at the end of the double round robin will head over to the AFC Champions League 2, and the number 1 team will head directly to the group stage, but the number 2 team will have to head over to the qualifying playoff, which will be a much longer road or some extra steps to play in that competition. And then the winner of the final series will not only be the champion in this tournament, but they will also get the right to represent the Philippines in the succeeding edition of the Shopee Cup. So with all of these competitions that we mentioned, who are the poor, or which teams are representing the Philippines in the AFC Champions League 2? It's Kaya FC Iloilo and Cebu FC. But when we head over to the Shopee Cup, by virtue of winning the 2022-2023 PFL season, or when we refer to the 2022-2023 PFL season, that is how Kaya got the right to be nominated and to represent the country in the Shopee Cup, which is the ASEAN Championship. Clubs would play against each other, of course, or clubs from the different ASEAN countries. As we are just sorting things out now for our man of the match interview. A big time win again for Maharlika Taguig FC, as they have or now hold 1 win and 1 loss. We're just sorting things out again before our interview. But action was aplenty because of the 5 goals that we got to have. And we do have our man of the match already. And we're just setting him up in front of camera. And it's definitely gonna be a surprise. We'll let him do the talking, of course, as we will allow him to take the limelight even more. But the clue is that he did score a goal. But then again, we have 4 different goal scorers for Maharlika Taguig and coach Marian Mihail. As the time now just continues to tick, we do see preparations now for the warm-up of Manila Digger FC and Minjola FC 1991. We definitely cannot wait for the next matchup to eventually go on with match number 2 in this Saturday doubleheader. So here we go again with our goal scorers. It's Rico Indes for Loyola. It's Saidi Kanikosa, Kaole, and Tesumun for Maharlika Taguig FC. And congratulations to them again. A total of 5 goals in this game. Yes, we do hear some applause from the Loyola huddle, of course. They made the most of their situation, as we will throw it now down onto the pitch with our interview with our man of the match. And of course, our man of the match is Ahmad Saidi, the goal scorer again, or the man who scored the first goal of this game.
It was a good one for us. I think because last game we all know what happened. You know, it was a tough game for us, but we came out and played well. So our motivation was the loss last game. So the goal to this game was just to come out and press harder, and we did exactly that. Yeah. Well, after that goal, after the equalizer, we knew that we had to push harder. So all we did is just came together in the second half and then just went harder. So one after another, because we knew we could do more, and that's exactly what we did. We came out and pushed, and then we got the goals. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for everybody that watched and those that came out, and I just want to say thank you to all of them. And it's still the beginning of the season. We're looking forward to more games. Yeah.
There you go once more, our man of the match in Ahmad Saidi for Maharlika Taguig FC in this 4-1 victory over Loyola FC. But we'll sign off from this match. A big thank you in behalf of Director Arvin Sincolyagas and the entire crew here, production staff, cameramen, floor directors. But we'll see you in the next game, because we still have Ninjola FC in 1991 and Manila Digger FC set to square off. It's bye for now, but we'll catch you in a bit, as we always say. This was Claro Manzano again, your commentator for this one. See you in a bit.